Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as a Florida Stone Man. And today I'm going to be talking to you all about crystal elixirs. Now, I've waited for a very specific day to talk about crystal elixirs. It's actually not an overly interesting topic to me just because I know about it so much, but for you guys who are doing it wrong, you actually really hurt yourselves spiritually and it can hurt a whole bunch of different things. So the reason why spiritual elixirs are not overly interesting to me, and I'm gonna be honest about this out front, just because I'm wearing almost every single crystal, and to have them inside me is similar. I mean, like I just have them embedded everywhere on me, so it is necessary to talk about. But the reason why I waited so long to teach about crystal elixirs is also because I simply didn't know. My angels were teaching me about crystal elixirs. My angels were teaching me how to help people with crystal elixirs. And this might be a short video because this information is pretty simple. Like you do it right or you don't do it right. First thing off, the first things first. First off, what's a crystal elixir? When you put a crystal in water and you drink it. Most of you are doing this horrendously wrong. You don't know it because some of the crystals you are putting in the water are just flat out just so subtle that you don't notice any energetic things that are going on. So they sell crystal water bottles, yes. They sell some of you have tried this, so basically they'll put crystals in your water. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if the crystals are not cleansed and charged and you put them in the water, you're consuming actual negative energy. Like let's just say you use the crystal to remove this breakup, right? Remove all the pain from a breakup. And then guess what? You put the same crystal that you didn't cleanse into the glass of water, and you fill up that glass of water, and you didn't cleanse the crystal. You didn't charge with the crystal either. Now you're just drinking the breakup energy. Isn't that horrible? So that's one reason that crystal elixirs are actually really, really, really bad if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, I'm gonna teach you by this, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how to make a crystal elixir and how to do it correctly, and my advice on crystal elixirs, and I'll teach you how you can incorporate angel numbers into your crystal elixirs. So let's start off like this. Water is a conduit. Some people ask on my TikTok live, why don't you drink water on your TikTok live? Because I've had several people say this to me before. Now, live has hundreds of people in it. There's like 200 or 300 people on it, just actively live every single day. Now, if I have a glass of water that I'm just actively drinking, and this is for other creators on TikTok lives as well, or just any kind of other lives, water is a conduit. So any energy in the room can and will go into the glass of water just because it absorbs stuff like a crystal, it'll absorb energy very easily. And the water just picks up on very heavy energy if it's not lidded and if it doesn't have a cap. Now, what does this mean? Look at the camera keeps panning. Like every time I say something, it's very dramatic. It's like pan. But I don't know where that started coming. That was from the last Apple update. But when it comes to crystal elixirs or water in general, if you take a glass of water and you leave water out on the table with a room full of people, and it sits there for an hour or 2 hours, and there's still a bunch of people in the room, you're going to consume negative energy from the people in the room because you're going to consume energy from people in the room because that's just how it is. Like, since everyone's energy is in the air and water is a conduit, it's going to go into the cup that's not covered. Now, why do they tell you to not drink plastic water? Because plastic water, it's on the shelf before it gets to you, and it constantly people are touching it, people are picking it up, people in the store walk by, it's going into the plastic bottled water as well. Now, after it's going into the plastic bottled water, you have the energy of plastic on the water, which is a horrible energy. Plastic has an energy of basically a man-made energy, and it's an energy of stagnancy. So you're going to notice different blockages just from drinking bottled water alone. If you take a bottle of water and then you fill it up with just water that you have that's not bottled water, for a few hours it'll be okay. Even like the first hour is okay. 3 hours it's like, okay, now it's absorbing some of the energy of the plastic, and you shouldn't really be doing that anyway. This is why I use, and it took me a while, I use very, very, very hard plastic. I'm just gonna say the panning on this camera is a little strange and it's a little dramatic, so anytime I say something it's kind of like I'll fix that. Don't worry, guys. I just think it's cool right now, but I'll fix it. When it comes to bottled water, I wouldn't drink bottled water if it's plastic water. I wouldn't drink it. Hard plastic has a different energy because it's not. It's a man-made plastic, yeah, but if you only have it up until an hour of when you put the water in it, it shouldn't affect you too much. Even if you have a bottle of water that you take into a public place, I put a cross on my water to filter out the energies because things can still use it as a conduit passively, especially when it's uncovered. But yeah, energy and water go very hand in hand. There's even a scientist who did all these scientific experiments about bottled water. So, just if you talk to water, the energy of the water changes. If you say bad words into the water, then the molecules change. If you talk good to the water, the molecules change. You can use water to manifest, and you can use crystal water to manifest as well. So the first crystal, and I would say the first and only crystal you guys ever should put in water is clear quartz. So cleanse and charge clear quartz, and here's how you make a clear quartz elixir. It's very easy. You take a glass bottle, a glass jar, you put non-bottled water in the jar, and you basically put the clear quartz in the water, and now you have a jar full of clear quartz water. You leave it there for overnight, about 6 to 8 hours to let it sit, and then it has an expiration date of 3 days. Yeah, crystal water can expire, because remember, it's a conduit. You can leave it next to a selenite from a distance if you know how to do it right. So basically, you'll put selenite around it because it can become selenite and crystal clear quartz water if it's too close together. But just follow the instructions in this video and just cleanse and charge your clear quartz, put it in a glass of water, fill it up, put it in the fridge. And this is something they don't teach at all, and this can be very shocking to some people's energy systems and energetic fields and chakras. So when you have a jar of clear quartz water, some of you are like, oh, I'm just gonna chug it down right away. Don't do that, because it's very concentrated. It sat there for a while. If you just put the clear quartz in the glass of water and you waited an hour, then okay. But some of you will start getting the twitchy eyes, you'll start having like little spasms, and just have weird spiritual symptoms I wouldn't do that at all. Like I said, make sure that the water you're drinking as well just make sure the water is not going to be open. Do not leave the lid open. Do not leave the bottle of water open at all. I would not. That's a really bad idea because the energy from the room will go into the bottled water. It's not a good idea. So the next thing you do is after you leave it overnight, take a cup of water and then fill the cup of water up with regular drinking water, preferably fluoride-free water, and then you'll add a little bit of the clear quartz water and you'll drink it. And because you need to be drinking lots of water when you drink crystal water, because it's gonna kind of throw off your energy field and your different chakras. But that's really gonna help you spiritually grow and spiritually evolve. This is not overly interesting, but it can help align a bunch of your chakras. It's always better to have the crystal than to have the crystal water. But for the people who want to really try crystal water just to see what it does for them, and it can be used for very strong situations. It can be used to truly help you. You can do this for pets as well, as long as you do it correctly with the clear quartz water. If for dogs and cats, you can use tourmalated quartz water because it's not too intense and it's not black tourmaline. If you don't know what you're doing and you think you're going to mess up, don't do it at all. It's not a good idea. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to. And if you drink too much of the clear quartz water or too much of the crystal water, the energy will be a little overwhelming for you and throw your chakras off. So I wouldn't suggest that either. Just be very careful with crystal water. I see people online selling giant crystal water. The crystal's rooted in the bottle. The crystal in the bottle doesn't move. And the crystal in the bottle is not getting cleansed and charged. People drinking that crystal water are going to get messed up and not even know what happened. Or just spiritually messed up. This is not a physical video. This is not disclaimer that this is just spiritual advice. This pertains to spiritual knowledge only, not physical knowledge. But if you're taking for the people who have rose quartz, clear quartz, just different quartzes in the water, rose quartz is good. If you know what you're doing, then you can do this with the rose quartz. Don't jump crystal to crystal to crystal to crystal to crystal water when it comes to these elixir waters, because you can really mess up your chakras. You can try, and don't even try it with the crazy stones either, because I heard on my TikTok live someone told someone else, someone like a metaphysical store said drink moldavite water when the person hasn't ever dealt with crystals ever. That's one of the most disturbing things I've ever heard or read ever. Moldavite water. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, that person heavily got their karma because they made someone drink moldavite water. The dude said he threw up, and then he felt super ungrounded afterwards. Thank God he didn't digest it, because he'd be really ungrounded, but that's just cruel. Don't drink moldavite water. Don't even try it. Your chakras will get fully messed up, and you might be beyond help from a Reiki healer for a good while, because your chakras have to go back into alignment. That's pretty much it. I mean, this is a very general video of how to make crystal water. I'm just going to go through the steps with you again. This is a very quick video. Take a jar of water, fill it up with fresh water, preferably non-bottled, non-fluoride water. Put a clear quartz in it that's freshly cleansed and charged. Write the expiration date of 3 days on it. Now you have clear quartz water, for example, and it has an expiration date. Now you leave it in your fridge. When you get a glass of water, pour a little bit, like maybe 25% of the clear quartz water into that glass of water, and then the rest of it is just regular water. That's also, because I don't want you guys drinking tap water. Like, come on. I really hope none of you are drinking tap water, especially in Florida. Fluoride, not the rapper, the water. Fast way to get your pineal calcified is with fluoride. So if you use fluoride toothpaste, you want to switch over to a regular toothpaste without fluoride, because that'll block your third eye fully. Like, that'll fully, like, just it'll put a lid on your third eye. It'll blind your third eye. So I really hope you guys have I mean, for the people who are watching my YouTube channel, yeah, you have common sense, because my videos are for spiritually advanced people. This is spiritually advanced knowledge. I really hope this video helps you guys. It's very, very straightforward, straight to the point. Start with clear quartz water. Stick with clear quartz water. Do this for about a month. If everything's fine, then you can do clear quartz and citrine water. Then for a month, just see how things go. See how you feel. Write down how you feel. Because I remember when I first did crystal water, I'm like, okay, let's start off with azaztolite water. I remember I drank it and I was in a restaurant because I took some of it with me, and I couldn't talk for hours. I was like, I mean, I stopped drinking that azaztolite water because my eye kept spazzing and like, I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. So I just take my advice, follow my advice. Don't go crazy with crystal water unless you want your chakras really messed up. Some of you actually chase that, because some of the people who get moldavite, it's disturbing. People like, for people who are already ungrounded, I'm like, they ask me, okay, what's moldavite do? I'm like, it's super ungrounding. It can mess you up if you're not grounded. And I say, I think you probably need more grounding before you ever get moldavite. It's not a good idea for you. They're like, okay, I'll get moldavite now. I'm like, I just said it's gonna mess you up, and you crave being messed up by a crystal because you don't, maybe you're kind of skeptical of crystals, and it's gonna entertain you. Karma just comes in its own mechanism and manner like that. Don't do that. Seriously, what's wrong with people? Like, stop trying to get moldavite because it's gonna mess you up. I already made a video about that. Like, seriously, like, when you're looking for a crystal to mess up, you're gonna get exactly what you asked for, and no one's gonna be able to help you. Like, no one, no Reiki practitioner. Because when you guys like drinking moldavite water and just doing really, really foolish things, you're gonna be so ungrounded that you can't even talk. One day will go by and it'll feel like, one day will go by and you realize like 2 weeks just gone by, but you're so ungrounded you can't focus on anything. You're rootless. Don't do that. Don't be foolish. Like, come on, this is spirituality. This is not a game. If you want to play a game with it, you can play a game with your entire life. You can just ruin your spiritual body. Like I said, this is a non-physical video. Disclaimer, this is about spirituality and uplifting yourself spiritually. Don't take your spirituality as a game, or else you're going to be beyond help. But there's no such thing as beyond help, but there's such thing as a bunch of people who are basically out here who can't help you, and you're going to go person to person to person to person. I remember when I had moldavite and I didn't know that I was supposed to take breaks from it. My angels would hide my moldavite from me. And I took the moldavite out with me, and some days are just not, some days in your astrological calendar Moldavite's not good for you to be carrying. Yeah, I wore Moldavite with Emerald, and something strange happened. I basically, like, I just had the intuition to yank and rip my necklace off. Sounds exotic. I have other stories that are very exotic, but I was just in public and I just ripped it off, and the emerald hit the ground, and because I didn't have any grounding stones at the time because I was still on my dabbling spiritual journey, and the emeralds hit the ground, and people looked at me like, oh, and there's just emeralds all over the ground. Like, I mean, that's an interesting story, but I felt so much better because the emeralds were a heart chakra crystal. I had the moldavite on me. That's also a heart chakra crystal. Too many heart chakra crystals, you can be fully overwhelmed and fully ungrounded if you don't do any grounding at all, which at that time I wasn't doing too much grounding. It was just kind of, I was my own guinea pig in finding stuff out. That's how I know most of the stuff I know, is because I tried everything myself. So yeah, just start with clear quartz water, elixir water. It's going to help enhance your spirituality. It's going to help open your chakras. If you just want to like just raise the vibration of your water, or just find a quick way to raise your vibration, that's a good way. It's not a fix-all. It's just nice to do. It's nice to have. It's a nice option to be available. But this video is teaching you about how to do it correctly, because no one online has been teaching about how to do it correctly, and all these people are having twitchy eyes and just really feeling off with different off chakras because you didn't know how to drink crystal water properly. So I really hope you guys learned that. Even if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!